Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Play Armored Core for Answer. So this is part 2. Part 1, I was just going through the introduction and rundown on some of the mechanics of the game so that I don't really have to talk about them too much. So let's actually get into gameplay now, and I'll show you guys what the gameplay is all about in the AC test. Oh boy. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting Let's Play just because I was thinking about it, and it's gonna be a lot of like commentary on my end, I suppose, but I'm just worried about running out of things to say or like what to talk about. So first things first, yeah, this is what you're gonna be doing for the most part, is fighting other enemy armored cores. And armored cores is sort of like a general term for all the mechs. Yeah, all the mechs in this game, because there are different categories of armored cores. So the ones I just fought, I'll run through the categories right now. The ones I just fought, yeah, excuse me. So the ones I just fought are called MTs, which is short for muscle tracers. And they're the cannon fodder grunts. Like, you're not gonna have a hard time killing these things at all. If you do, then oh boy, you're gonna have a really hard time with this game. So yeah, MTs. Then you have normals, which are sort of the beefier grunts, and these guys aren't really all that hard either. They take a little bit more of a beating, but there are certain variations of normals that can dish out a bit more damage depending on what they're equipped with, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later on, depending on which mission we're playing. And then we have next. So next are armored cores that are equal to your class, and they're short for next generation armored cores, specifically third generation in this game, I believe. So there's a whole bunch of armored core types within the series, and it sort of ties into the which era and universe we're talking about, because Armored Core 4 and For Answer is sort of a sequel expansion for Armored Core 4, because prior to Armored Core 4 there was sort of the Armored Core 3 era, which is Armored Core 3, Armored Core Silent Line, Armored Core Last Raven, and I believe Nexus and maybe Ninebreaker fit in there. I'm not too sure. Help me out in the comment section, veterans. You guys probably know a lot more than I do. No, in fact, you guys know a lot more than I do, I'm sure of it. So how is this broken down? So the mechanics of the game are, you got the numbers in the middle there is your AP, so that's your health. The thick bar next to that is your primal armor, so your shield. It will go down when you're using overboost right here, along with the top bar, which is your energy gauge. And your energy gauge will start going down whenever you use quick boost to dodge, or if you're up in the air. Unless you have a armored core like mine, which is tuned to have aerial efficiency, then you can mitigate that. And then aside from that, you have your right weapon and your left weapon, whichever you equip to it. So I have a laser blade on my left, and then I have the back weapons, which is my missiles. And then on the left side is my grenade launcher. So I usually have my armored core build around versatility, or specifically, yeah, like my midweights, because to generally give some reference on the statistics on some of the weight classes that you can sort of tell right away is midweights will generally have about 30 to like high 30,000s in terms of the AP amount. Maybe 40 if you can squeeze in like a very particular like build with some of the parts. Heavyweights will go into 40 to 50,000 in terms of AP, and lightweights will go either anywhere from 20,000 into like high 20,000s. So that's sort of like a quick notion, or at least like quick way of telling where your armored core fits in terms of class. Besides how they move, because midweights they can move, like mine moves pretty fast, like decently fast for midweight, and then lightweights are obviously really fast and heavyweights are slower. Okay, now to show off a test with a armored core next. So this is what a boss fight will generally look like. You can, if you look very closely at the target reticle, you can sort of see the primal armor gauge right next to the damage I'm doing on this armored core. So, thing is, you want to keep that down on the enemy at all times if you want to maximize the output in terms of damage. Come on. Yeah, I'm pretty rusty. I haven't touched this game in like years. And got her. Oh yeah, I'm definitely rusty. Used to be able to beat this testing AI armored core without getting hit. So yeah. Okay, so that's the little test demo there. There's a tutorial if you're starting the game fresh, but I'm not even gonna bother with that. I definitely just want to show off like my already fully built armored cores, but I'll give you guys what strats I can. I guess for thematic reasons, I'm not gonna use Stormhowl just yet. I'm gonna use one of my other armored cores for the first few missions, at least until a certain point. Again, I'll switch over to Stormhowl. Hugin or Fenrir? I'll go with Hugin. So, for any of you guys who are into mythology, I'm sure you'd recognize those names. So, Fenrir is the great wolf that Odin fights within Ragnarok, within that mythology. And Hugin is one of his ravens, because there's Hugin and Munin. So Hugin stands for thought, and Munin stands for memory, if I recall. So, yeah, I'm definitely big on my mythology in that sense. Yeah, this game also has multiple endings, but I'll only be going for one ending. Specifically, for those of you guys who do know, it's the League ending, so more so the basic ending, just because I'll just cover this right now before I move on. But the other two endings, one of them is pretty much the genocide ending where you just lay waste to everything, and then the other one is the Orca ending, where you side with a resistance group. Both of those endings, I guess I just don't like, and second of all, they're just a pain in the ass to get, because the Orca ending, you have to fight in a 2-on-1 battle with two armored cores, and I do have a strat, but some of the strats that I have whenever it comes to fighting multiple armored cores into this game, it's not fun to really play or even probably watch, because it's just a step-by-step process at that point. Like, oh yeah, I'll use this armored core with this weapon, I kill this guy first, then kill this guy, and do this. It's step-by-step process, not too fun, so I'm just gonna do a regular run with the basic ending, just because that way it's a little bit more easier on my end. I could just freeform the Let's Play. So, that's that. Okay, let's start.
This is your mission. Eradicate the defensive units deployed in the Line Arc zone. As you know, Line Arc is the main base of the anti-establishment forces that oppose the Cradles. We have tried to negotiate peacefully with these revolutionaries, but they have refused our overtures and continue their violent attacks. This mission is a show of force to encourage the enemy to rejoin negotiations. We never like to resort to violence, but on this occasion, we have no choice. Lynarch's main weapon, White Glint, is currently operating in another area. It will not become a risk in this operation. Note that this mission is a test run of your capabilities. We trust that you will deliver a successful result.
So, as you guys noticed from the intro segment, White Glint is one of, like, the mechs that you're going to have to deal with in the game, and it is arguably one of the most iconic within the Armored Core series. All of us fans love it. Like, it's a badass mech design, and I'm sure you guys noticed with, the previous part in my Stormhowl design. That's the frame I was using. It's not official, but I guess I have a slight theory as to where White Glint is right now. And that intro segment, the intro cinematic, is probably the reason why he's not at the Lynarch facility right now. Is probably because he's busy fighting Arms Fort. So that's my theory as to where he is right now.
Commence mission. Destroy all Lynarch defense units.
A league next? Damn it, not now.
So this is actually pretty funny. You can get these MTs to kill themselves if you just sit below them, because they'll just shoot the platforms and blow up the platforms and kill themselves. And they can't hover on water, so they'll just sink to the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, like so. In fact, I guess I could just do this to save on ammo. But, yeah, what's the fun in that? Let's actually get up there and take them on.
Confirmed. Half the targets have been destroyed.
Damn! Are we doing any damage? Primal armor? First we have to break down that primal armor.
Good luck with that. That's not happening. And, oh, here we go. A few missiles. And, yeah, so that is how you dodge missiles. That's a major pro tip right there. Is don't dash to the side. That's a fatal beginner mistake. Is people will often just panic and dodge to the side to dodge the missiles, or at least try to. The only thing you're really doing is giving the missiles more time to correct their course and hit you. So I fell into that trap when I first got into the Armored Core 4 and for answer, until I saw a YouTube video of somebody explaining that tip. And I guess in relation, think of it like dodging needler rounds in Halo, because the needler also homes in the exact same fashion, and that is actually how I remember taking out one of my friends in Halo. He was dual wielding the needler, and I just came at him at a 45-degree angle with the assault rifle, and I managed to take him out. And I'm pretty sure. Oh wait, no. Two of these guys. I thought I got them.
We've confirmed all targets destroyed.
I was a little worried whether we hit a bug, because I think there is a slight bug where I've killed everyone, but the game won't finish the mission, so. And yeah, those enemies were definitely not anything to write about. And of course, like any Japanese action game, there's a ranking system. And it's based on how much ammo you've used and how much damage you have taken. So, pretty much, if you're just efficient at what you're doing, that shouldn't be an issue, because it also is deducted from the overall amount of money that you make in that mission. As you can see, we're supposed to get 200,000 credits right there. However, after deductions from our ammo ammo usage and damage repairs that we ended up with the amount right there. So that's the ranking system to this game. Okay, to also get the alternate endings in the game, you just have to play certain missions in a certain order. So I have a mission tree just to take a look at all of that, and there are specific missions that I really do want to show, and some of them are only accessible once you've already finished the game at least once. Okay. Right, there also used to be cooperative play. However, cooperative play was only available if the other player has finished the same missions that you have. So if you've played a mission that they haven't played, they can't join you on that mission. And one of the things I remember doing with a friend of mine and back in high school is I just copied my save file and gave it to him, and we just played through certain missions together. There's also a PvP mode, but I'll talk more about that later. And then there's free play. Once you finish the game, you can play through the missions that you've already finished. And yeah, as you can see, I've S-ranked all the missions on normal. I did S a few of them on hard, but I'm probably not going to bother S-ing all of them on hard just because I don't have the time or commitment to do that anymore. Yeah, but that's how as you can see, the total rank right there, it says S rank. If you get S rank on hard, then you're double S rank. My cousin has a friend that double S ranked, and I'm like, phew, that's crazy. But yeah, normal's good enough for me. And then there is order match, where you can fight any of the armored cores that appear in the game in a 1v1 PvE fight. And it also shows them sort of the actually let's choose one. Oh, let's talk about White Glint then. Yeah, it gives you a brief little snippet of a bio that talks about the pilot and the armored core. White Glint is very unique because, keep in mind, this game came out, it's technically a sequel. Armored Core 4 on its own just came out, and then For Answer came out, so this is technically a sequel. Armored Core 4, you're actually the pilot of White Glint, before he got this Armored Core. Okay, it says, let's see, I'll read the bio right here. Link's affiliated with the anti-leak power line arc. Hers is an original craft by the master architect Abu Marsh. Although still ranked 9, she's well known as a top-class next. She took down an entire company solo during the Lynx War. Okay, so I refer to the pilot as he, even though it says she in this bio. I think that is really up to player discretion, or your choice, because you, the player, whether you're a guy or a girl, right? And you play through the first game, so it could be either or. Because in a later mission, when you talk to White Glint's operator, she says he can't come to help you anymore, in one of the lines, which implies that the pilot is a guy. So you could either take White Glint's pilot as a female or a male. It doesn't really actually matter, is my take on it. And it's also the reason why the Lynx name is unknown, because you can name your character whatever the hell you want to name them, right? There's also the notification of the rank being 9, and that's actually a reference to Armored Core's most, I guess, infamous of pilots, and this is more so old school Armored Core, which is 9-Ball. And 9-Ball was sort of the top dog in the original Armored Core games, and he sort of pops up as a Easter egg enemy in later games after you officially killed the quote-unquote real one. So there's a pretty funny meme among Armored Core veterans, which is 9-Ball kicking your ass since 1997. So yeah, that's where that comes from. Do I want to fight you right now? No, not right now. Save it for later. So yeah, there's like the rankings and everything. So if you defeated everyone in the ordered rank, that's how you increase your ranking up to like number 1. And then there's also Orca rankings, but it's all sort of tied within the same thing. Okay, moving on.
Okay, here's the mission. The client is Omer Science Technology. The objective is to destroy the defenses at Taurus Corporation's B7 deep mining facility. The main enemy force consists of normals and autonomous drones. Depending on how many of them there are, they should be no problem for a next. The automated defense systems will try to close the external barricades. You have permission from the client to destroy them. This shouldn't damage the facility itself. Briefing over. This is an excellent opportunity for you to strengthen ties with Omer Science Technology. Not a bad deal, right?
Okay. Alright, so a lot of cramped corners in this mission, so you can definitely start to see some of the flaws that this game sort of has with like its gameplay, because 90% of it really is mech customization, but the overall like content that you have towards I was gonna make a point about these enemies, but I'll finish my first point. But yeah, there's not a lot of like, I guess, mission diversity, or at least how the missions are sort of like set. It's sort of very primitive and like just kill all these enemies here and maybe fight Armor Core boss, and even when you fight giant arms forts, just how the game design is, it's really rough around the edges, to be honest. So it's hard for me to recommend this game to most people unless you're willing to commit, which is why like for like the first 100 hours of this game, I was going through a lot of trial and error, like experimenting with like how to build a good armored core, what stats do what, because the game doesn't explain it like I said in the intro part. So I have to figure all that stuff out myself, and of course you got all the awesome people within the fan community. So yeah. Okay, these guys are another type of normal, and though it's very slim for it to happen, but if you get like, it depends on whether you get careless or not, but these guys can hit you really freaking hard. As you saw them sort of trying to fly towards you and punch you there, it's because they have these rocket gauntlets that explode whenever they hit you. So that's why I was keeping my distance with them. So they're not hard, but if you get careless, you can pretty much get screwed over by them. You can also shoot down missiles if you're not up for dodging them. We're relying on lock-on right now, but if you hold down, depending on how you mapped it, let's see if I can do it right now. Okay, there it is. This is free aim right now. I just held down on the L3 button since I'm playing on PlayStation 3 right now. This is free aim, but I can't think of a moment where I actually need free aim. Like, unless there are a few those like strats, like crazy strats out there from some of you veterans that you've come up with a crazy strat, then I guess let me know. But other than that, nobody really seems to free aim. Okay, this is risky, but okay, there we go. Yeah, using the grenade launcher in close quarters like this is risky business because you can get splash damage from your own explosive weapons. Yeah, another point as to why I believe I think like Armored Core, like why I'm playing Armored Core here, is because there aren't very many Mech-Action games within like the industry, which is really kind of sad. like in recent, the only Mech-Action game that I can think of is Daemon X Machina, which is exclusive on the Nintendo. However, they did port over to the exclusive on the Nintendo Switch, but they did port it over to the PC. And that game, it does have some people from the Armored Core development team working on it. Some of them moved on, I believe. So like, it does have like the DNA of Armored Core game. Like playing through it, I was like, oh man, flat out Armored Core, and so many Armored Core references too. You pay close enough attention. But the downside to some of it is the handling behind the marketing for the game, because what is it? Marvelous Entertainment, the developers, I believe they're the ones that developed it, not published it. They really shot themselves in the foot with that game, because when the game was just coming out and people were trying to do coverage on it, there were just copyrights. Like, it was a copyright nightmare for some of the people who wanted to cover the game, which meant that it didn't really get the exposure that it should have gotten. So there's a missed opportunity right there, which is really, really sad. And I do have the game. I did play it. I did have a lot of fun with it. It's not as hard as Armored Core. Like, I did not struggle with it at all, with the exception of maybe the final boss.
All targets destroyed.
But that's more so just a matter of me running out of ammo. But yeah, Daemon X Machina is the only like recent Mech-Action game that I can think of that really caters to this niche Mech-Action genre, which is really sad, because aside from that, there's also the popularity that Zone of the Enders has, which was one of the other options that I had for doing a Let's Play, but I decided to opt for this. And not to mention, Zone of the Enders is a lot more of a arcadey slash and hack rather than a full-on like RPG Mech-Action where you have to customize stuff. But most of the other mech stuff that I do hear about is sort of like under the radar and maybe indie developed, because one game that I did pick up on was, what was it called? There's Project Nimbus. Yeah, Project Nimbus Code Mira for like the PS4. That is originally a PC game, but it got ported over to PS4, and I did play through the first half of the game because it is broken into two parts on console. And man, that game also has a lot of like Armored Core references and like the general feel of like somebody who is passionate about Mech-Action games. So I really do wish that the game industry would like get into like Mech-Action more. Like most people that I talk to usually talk about Titanfall, but Titanfall isn't really, I don't really count it as a Mech-Action game. I count it as like a first-person shooter with Mech-Action elements to it, with like the Titans. And in ways it almost reminds me of Mech Assault, for any of you guys who played that on like the original Xbox. Oh boy, that was another hard game. But yeah, Mech-Action, it's got to come back, guys. Like, I think one idea that I think should happen, like I wish could happen, and if by some chance Bandai Namco is watching, please make a Mech-Action game where you have the guys from Project Aces, so the Ace Combat development team, do the story and help out with the development, and then have the guys who are like Armored Core veterans in terms of development work together. Like, imagine that, a game with Ace Combat storytelling, but Armored Core's customization and like crazy awesome gameplay that's maybe a mixture of like Ace Combat and Armored Core. I mean, holy shit, I'd buy that in a freaking heartbeat. But who knows whether that'll happen or not. Doubtful, but you know, I can dream big. Wishful thinking. Okay, so we just hit the 30-minute mark here, so I'm gonna cut off part 2 here, and I'm gonna jump into part 3, and part 3 will probably be the last part for today's session. So I'll catch you guys in a bit.